The Patriot Act. The Patriot Act. What's up? You out celebrating our freedom, our fake freedom, because we've never, ever been free of the control of England. Actually, it's deeper than that. Rome, the Roman Empire, still exists. It's just located in the land they call the US of A, United States of America Corporation, where China owns more land than any United States citizen, and that's fact. And when they come collect, there's nothing you can do. Why do you think they're trying to get everyone indoctrinated with the Build Back Better and the new we are nothing. We aren't even a country, brah. This is a corporation and we are just cattle. The minute our birth certificate is signed, we become property of the corporation, and our social security numbers are our identification, and all we are is cattle that can be used to pay off debt to other countries. There never was an America, bro. It's all a show. They allow us to believe, but why do you think the United States government is in the District of Columbia? Don't you think the highest power of a country should be located in the country? Why do you think the president of the Federal Reserve is not an American citizen and is stationed in Puerto Rico. Exactly. United Savages of America. Corporate are us. Basically, all it is. The American dream making billionaires rich and more rich while busting our ass 40 to 60 hours a week to barely afford a roof over our head, food, and transportation, while the people at the top have so much money they could fix all of humanity and still be trillionaires, but they want nothing to do with that. They love watching us suffer. There's some sick individuals. Slavery still goes on. We are all slaves. All civilians are slaves. Ralph Nader, I remember that guy. There ain't anyone that's going to run for any political office that isn't an actor playing a role. Believe me. Why don't they allow civilians with zero political ties to run for president? They're gonna fucking. I'm getting talk. Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm back. It's not what you think it is. Did you guys hear about the train that crashed into, I think, the Rio Grande River just recently? Was carrying chemicals? Go figure. Surprise, surprise. Did you know that there are more Chinese troops stationed in Canada than in China themselves? And do you know why that is? Because when they come here to collect the land that they bought in order to pay off debts, the Americans used land to pay off debts. Hold on. I'm just kidding. All that stuff I said is false. I just America's a wonderful country. I'll obey like we're supposed to. It definitely is falling apart if there even ever was one. Shit, what I mean? America is the Babylon the Bible talks about. Why do you think in the Roman days, what'd you have? You had the city of York. What is the major city in America? New York. Hmm. No, I don't know. I don't know shit. Let's talk about something else. Fireworks going off like crazy out over here in Detroit. Can't believe there ain't gunshots yet. That'll be soon when it gets dark. But they spent a lot of money. I'll be hearing those big boomers right outside my door. None of those things matter. Government's all a theater, brother. It's all scripted theater. We all are, anyway. Life is all one big stage. We're all playing characters. We're here to learn. Earth is school. We're learning. And if we learn enough what we need to move on to the next place, the next dimension or whatnot, we will. If we didn't learn enough, then you reincarnate, you create another contract, you pick your parents, and you're born here again, and you continue it over and over again until you learn enough to move on. And what you're trying to learn is love. That's the whole point of our lives is to learn about love. Dude, science is the fakest shit you'll ever think of. There's no such thing as science. Science. Yeah, once the cameras are off or the curtains are closed, Democrats and Republicans are all best friends shaking hands. They're not against each other like they say. That's all for show to keep us divided. As long as there's two political systems, the people will be divided. That's what they need. All they are is a bunch of rich people playing roles, lining their pockets with our money. They don't hate each other like they say. Why aren't I what? I'm never gonna be that. I don't want no part of that, bruh. Hold on a second. Really, secular? Is that all you're gonna do? Or are you gonna play with her feetsies? Her footsies? I'm in the hood, brother. I'm always in the hood. Hold on, let me get back in the crib and I'll drop a link. I was just out selling work. You know how I do things. I'm just kidding. Ow! I don't need a wife, dude. I'm 40, no kids, been single for 5 years and happy as can be. I'm an introvert lone wolf. If I had a wife or a girlfriend, I couldn't play poker all night like I do. It's the only thing I care to do. Here we go. It's coming. Boom. Holla at your boy if you wish. Ow! It's better outside, except the mosquitoes are freaking death. I'm not in the burbs, dude. That was not the burbs. Not even close to the burbs. I'm on Whitney, right off Dexter, about half a mile south of Joy, homie. I got a house in the burbs right over by Dearborn Heights Inkster border, but I'm never there. We're about to have the best looking man in the internet up here, ladies. Here he comes.
I'm shy.
I'm shy. You're the best looking guy in YouTube.
I don't think so. I'm a creepy old guy. How you been, man? I'm glad to see you're back in town, back in the game.
I've been good, homie. I got
That's
lucky, man. I had one video that just blew up and I just hit 1 million views. And from that one short, I gained 6,800 subs in
really,
like
which video? Somebody else
3
said that.
weeks.
Which video was it? I want to go
It's
back and watch it.
just go to my shorts and click on most popular. It'll be the top one. It's where the guy gets out of his car with a assault rifle and starts shooting up a suburban, and then it's only like a 14-second clip. But I
Did you
posted
you
I
you took
posted
that
that.
clip?
Yeah, it was off. I got it on the Detroit police Twitter, and then I screen recorded it, and then I put my own touch to it, added a
Aha.
song. It's not a copyright infringement at all. And then somehow, I don't know why YouTube, out of all videos, would choose that one to really push in the algorithm because it's very violent. But out of nowhere, like within a week, it had like 4,000 views, then 5,000. I literally, if you go back in the community, you'll see like I just hit 3,000. Then a day later, I posted, man, I hit 4,000. This is nuts. A day later, like it took literally a week. I went from 1,500 subs to now I'm about to hit 9,000
No
in
shit.
literally,
Good for you. Keep driving. People like the driving around the hood and stuff.
yeah, for sure. It's just I'm almost, you know how Tom said he got lucky and a couple of his videos blew up? He wasn't
I,
lying because that's what happened to me. I was sitting at 1,500 subs. It took shit to get from 300 to 1,500. It took like
right.
8 months to get from 1,500 to 8,800. It took freaking 12 days.
Not to be nosy, but how much, like have you gotten like with that many subscribers, how much do you make a month? How much can you make? Can you make at least 100?
Oh, way more. I'll tell you. All right. The first YouTube pay, I was getting 700,000 views in 28 days. I didn't get no memberships, no super chat, nothing. The 700,000 views, uh, it came out to my first pay was 3,200 and some change. Now,
No shit.
right now, I'm at 1.4 million views for this 28-day period. It's my estimated revenue right now. What they estimate I'm at is 7,500 and something. So I'm gonna
That's
probably,
for 1 month.
yeah, because I'm at my channel is getting over a million views a month. They pay like between $2 and $5 every 1,000 views, and I'm getting 1.4 million views. Like
Aha, I
I,
got you.
my channel went nuts. Like I post it in the community, my stats. I'm not lying. Like it shows. Like I'll
Wow.
post my stats in the community after this, just so you see. But yeah, they just started counting the ads and stuff. At first, you can get monetized at 3,000 watch hours, but only for super chats and memberships. Because
Right.
it took me forever to get 4,000 watch hours because I don't do lives. You know, lives are the quickest way to get watch hours.
Oh, is that
Like,
right? I didn't know that.
yeah,
I'm not
because
in it. I wasn't really in it for the money, but I
remember
think now,
back in, I'm not either. That's why I plan on doing a lot of giveaways to the members for money.
give me
But
some. Give away
remember,
to.
just listen. Remember when I used to go live every night for 4 or 5 hours 3 years ago?
Right.
I had like 10,000 watch hours within like 2 months. But because if you go live for 4 hours and there's 10 people in there, that's 4 hours times the 10 people, you know? So that's like 40 hours. That however many people are in your live, the hours don't just count one per, you know, it counts for each person. So
Really,
like
I didn't know
if
that.
yeah, so say this live went for 4 hours and there were 20 people in here all 4 hours, then I would get the 4 hours times the 20 people, you know? So that's why lives give you the best watch hours. But it was a bitch getting that 400,000. I was fucking playing 3 phones. Took forever. Then I finally got it. But know what sucks? They don't count shorts towards your watch hours. If they did
Yeah, I
that,
know that.
I got I got 19,000 watch hours from shorts because of that video, but they don't count it that way. You got to have 10 million views in shorts or 4,000 watch hours from videos. I finally hit it like 3 weeks ago to where I'm fully monetized with ads, everything, supers, memberships.
So for like, say for 1,200 subscribers, and then you hit 4,000 watch hours.
Yeah,
I'm
all you
close to
do,
that. How much
they'll
would I
send,
make?
well, it don't, the subs don't matter how many subs you got. It matters how many overall views you're getting in the 28-day span.
I got you. What's
You know,
what's
like
the
like
possibility?
when you click on your analytics, and then
Right.
it'll show you last 28 days how many overall views you have in the top
Right.
left corner. That is what is the major, like 90% of your pay. And then
You should
then
make
you
prank videos.
got your membership monthly payments go into it. You got super chats, you got thank yous that I never noticed that on every video there's an option like to thank or tip the person for that video alone. Like I got a $10 thank you for a poker video earlier.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I put that up on mine now? I got like 3,200 watch hours, but like
Yeah.
1,200
Then you
subscribers.
should have got a message from YouTube saying that you are eligible to become a partner, and then they guide you through there what you got to do. I'd check your email.
Yeah, but can I like for
Yeah,
thank
if you got 3,000 watch hours and over 1,000 subs, you're eligible to do membership, join, and super chat. So you can have people send you money via super chat, and you can have people join your page as a like member, and you can pick whatever price you want to charge per month. Those and you can open up a store like if you have merchandise. Those are the only perks at and then at 4,000 watch hours you get all commercial ads. That's
uh-huh.
where the big money is.
We should make prank videos. I have a lot of really good idea for pranks.
Hey, Marker, I haven't seen you in ages, brother. Sorry, I
Hey,
wasn't
Marker.
looking at the chat. I'm glad to see you around again and doing well.
Yeah, we should make prank videos. I think you and I would be good at that. I gotta check my baby's mama's message. Hold on. You can't see that, can you? Did you see that message just popped up?
No, not at all. Dude,
My-
if you want to collab and like do staged pranks and stuff, I'm sure they would blow up. Or we can just
Yeah.
do real ones and hope we don't get shot.
Right. In the hood. The ones in the hood are popular. I love those prank videos.
Like
But I
90%
was
of YouTube prank channels are all staged pranks. So that's the thing.
oh, is that right?
Most, yeah, like the ones like, or you will know the one where the guy will hit on the girl and she won't be interested. Then he'll get in a Ferrari and then she comes and those are
Yeah,
done
those
so much.
yeah.
Those are so overdone. Then there's a lot of like shit. What were some of the big prank ones? Just
There's
I don't
Sons of
hitting
Arkham's.
hitting on other guys' girlfriends
Right.
type things, and then fake fights break out. And I don't really watch the pranks too often.
I walked into CVS here once and I was talking really loud to $10 Tommy and I was talking about prostitutes, getting prostitutes. And I noticed the reaction. This one woman kind of smiled and this other younger female looked like a lesbian social justice type and she kept flashing
Oh,
me dirty
mm,
looks. It was
I got
funny. They would have been good reactions, but
you have purple
that,
hair and freaking skin type black. Looked like
well,
she was.
yeah, something
I,
like that. But see, there's one called Top Notch Idiots where like they'll ask like they're asking for directions. They'll say, "Just say my boy, why you give me an attitude?" He fucks with mostly black people. This guy, check out Top Notch Idiots. It's really good.
um,
It's funny,
okay.
but they can be really dangerous. Doing those pranks.
Yeah, there's been like 3 or 4 big YouTubers who got
Are you on?
killed by doing they got killed doing pranks in the hood because before they had time to tell the people it was a prank, they got shot.
Yeah.
I forget who they were, but one of them was in LA, like just and he walked up to a gang and he was claiming the other gang and all dressed in their colors and he got shot
Wow.
before he could tell them it was a prank.
Wow. Yeah. You should. This one kid got beat to death in Ohio. Lamont at Large featured the story. Was they were spraying him with these high-powered water guns. Group of
Uh-huh.
young black kids playing basketball, young black teenagers or late teens, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, you
Then
can't do
there's the
stuff like
one.
that.
Did you see the one at like grocery stores where you scan an item and then just walk out, and then like the person, like a person paying for their groceries, you just
Yeah, I seen that.
scan, then you walk out. Like that's what that one's done a lot. We got to think of something that's not done that often.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I'd have to be
or
wearing a microphone, I think, and you'd have to
yeah,
be in the
you got to
distance with the camera, with like a high-powered camera. I think you can
exactly.
use a phone. You could use a phone too, right? How does
Yeah,
that work? Like if I wear a microphone, how does that
probably
go?
Bluetooth. Like we would connect through Bluetooth.
Bluetooth? Okay.
Most likely.
Yeah, I think that would be a blast.
Prank videos are dying down now. Now the main popular things on YouTube, other than the shorts, are reaction videos, which I don't care for,
Yeah, they react to music, react to songs and stuff.
or like just news, anything like it. That's no creative at all. All they're doing is using other content and just talking about it. That's not
Right.
creative at all.
Well, I like a lot of the food videos. I wish I knew how to do all that stuff. There's one app called Camtasia where they like film different video clips in a restaurant, then they put them all together and they narrate the person, the foodie narrates it.
Okay. Did
I
you
don't know how to
see?
do that.
Did you
I don't
see
know how
on
to.
your? You see on your videos when you upload it now? There's an option. You got to turn it off if you don't want. If you don't turn it off, people can take your videos now and remix them into their own without a copyright strike.
Right. Well, you know what?
Because
I don't care
right,
about
but I'm saying
covers.
there's an option. There's an option now. Like when you upload in a video, going through the process before you
Right.
finally, there's a button that says, "Do you wish to prevent other users from remixing this video?" And if you don't turn it off, they can use any of your videos. Because I see a new thing is they do the green screen, like they'll use someone else's video and they'll have their big giant face like on in front of the video, like
Right.
reacting to what's going on in the video. A lot of people, over 20,000 people, remixed that video of mine that made it over 1 million. But at least it credits me. It says it'll say something came from at Michigan Made, and then
Right.
so like it credits you for the video, but they can use it without your permission if you don't change the. I don't mind if people
Right.
use my stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I had people like recognize me once. It wasn't so good in Allen Park. Somebody yelled something nasty out the window, and somebody and a couple people on Michigan Avenue recognized me. But I was, what do you think Michigan made? I was kind of, it's like a moral, ethical thing with me. I thought of a good name, and I was going to interview like former drug
All
dealers,
right, not to
hookers.
cut you
Well,
off. Good night, Marker. Come by more often, brother. I'm gonna start going live again. Good to see you. All right, continue, brother.
yeah. So how do you feel about like I thought of a name for a channel, and it was always kind of a moral and ethical thing for me, and I never really uh, wanted to do YouTube for money and for
Yeah,
stature or anything
I
like
didn't
that.
plan on it
But
either. I'm
but
just now.
but I
Now
thought
I'm.
of a good name for a channel, and I what if I did start like interviewing prostitutes and homeless hobo guys and drug
People want
dealers,
to.
former drug
People want
dealers.
to see that, man. That's what people want to see. That stuff. I mean, you would have a good popular channel. No one would call you a copycat. I mean, that's the kind of stuff people are wanting to see.
Yeah, but it's exploitive though. It's like, is it wrong? Because I would probably end up giving some of them people some cash. It wouldn't be a lot,
If
but
you're giving them something after you use them for content, then that's not that exploitive at all because
yeah.
they're getting something for it. And
I could use
well,
3,000 a month easy. That's probably I don't take at my full-time job, I don't take home that much. That's for working too hard.
yeah, it's
I know
wild.
I do take home that much, but a lot of it there's a part of it goes to my retirement and then there's like health insurance and
I'm
union
gonna
dues
look.
to get that
I'm gonna
back.
use my other phone. I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna see what Social Blade says I'm making right now, real quick, just to see how accurate it is.
So
Someone
your
else
first
someone else must be live because I only got you in here, unless I'm just not popular anymore.
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
probably you got to put up a let people know you're going live.
What?
And you're
What?
you're you're actually known to be out of the drama now,
Yeah,
100%.
I refuse to do any CWC talk in here or content, or I'm not bringing up
Yeah, don't
anyway.
lower yourself. Don't
Nope,
lower
I'm not
yourself.
at all. I moved on and look what happened. I got a lucky streak and my channel blew up.
Right.
But anyway,
But
what were you saying before that?
but initially, how much money did you get any like when you first got monetized? Your first month was it like $20 or $50 or like when you were
Oh,
at a
the
round?
first the first month was the 3,000. I only well probably would have been more, but I hit it in the middle of the month, so I only got 14 days, but I had 750,000 views, and that equaled to $3,020 a
Really?
month. Yeah, right. I'm non social blade. I'm about to see what their
So when
estimated.
Tom slipped up and he said he was making 14,000 something a month, that was
He was
wow.
getting, he was easily
Wow,
probably
no
more because
shit.
he was getting a
God damn.
million. He was getting a million views on every interview, and then he was going live driving around
Yeah, let
Detroit, and
us
there would
know
be
how much money you're gonna make.
there would be 300-400
How much
people.
you
He was
all gonna
probably
pay me, I hope.
Tom.
Where's all the
Tom
chatters?
probably Tom probably made a, close to 500 grand in that span when he was real hot, like when his videos were blowing up and everyone was watching him live drive around Detroit. He was banking, bro. All right, here we go. Here's what they say for me. Social Blade, my channel's a B. Estimated monthly earnings $326 to 5,000 5.2K.
Wow.
Yearly estimation 3.9K to 75.6K.
God
Video
damn. Wow.
video views for the last 30 days 1.3 million. Entertainment rank 3,500. I'm in the 3,000s for entertainment. Subscriber rank 8,250. Wow. Subscribers the last 30 days 6.8K.
Wow.
Let's see what I'm blowing away everyone from that community. Let's see what SV numbers are doing. I don't even want to say her name. I guarantee, even though she gets good numbers on her lives, my numbers are probably blowing her away. Let's see. If Maddie and Gerald could have figured out how to get monetized correctly, they would have made a lot of money because they were getting a lot of views on those lives.
Hey little brat, how you doing, baby? Yeah, Maddie told me that. I've talked to them in person. I met them a few times.
They, oh yeah, I did see that you've seen her recently. Have you seen that the Sarah girl lately, with the one with freckles, the one that I
Yeah, I
know?
do. Yeah,
Have
you
you
know what?
have
Yeah, I
you
have.
seen
I
her?
have. I see her
Wondering.
somewhat
I haven't
often out there.
I haven't talked to her in a while. I was wondering if she was doing all right.
Yeah, she's working. No, she's not doing all right.
No,
She's on the way of she's out she's working and she's you know what I mean by that and she's
yeah. Remember on her first video, she said she would never do that.
yeah, I knew that but she's starting to lose weight now. She's a little bit on the heavy side. I can see her weight going down now.
Is she back with her ex-boyfriend Ian? Have you met Ian yet?
No, I haven't. I don't know if she is or not.
All right, here's SVTV. Her channel's getting a B minus. Her she's doing 41.5 thousand views a month, and I'm doing 1.3 million. Her average monthly earnings is $10 to $166.
You know what? I'd be happy with 100. I'd be happy with 70 or $80 to be honest with you.
What's another big channel? Let's look up see Survivor Girl's number. She's kind of a big channel, ain't she?
Oh, you just said Survivor. Oh, you said
That
SVTV.
was that SV. Sharon
Oh
had
yeah.
this.
Sure.
Her
Okay. Right.
number.
Right.
Her numbers
Look
are
up
terrible.
babbling. Look up Bobbles.
Okay. I think the only person that's close to me, Frank gets good numbers in his videos. Nitty.
Yeah, Nitty. Yeah, I know he does.
He gets numbers in his lives. All right, here she is. She's got a C plus. She's only averaging 9,000 views a month. Estimated monthly earnings $2 through $39. That's not good.
You're the big man on campus. You should put some of that money out on the street, brother.
No, I if people would read, if they join my memberships and stuff, I want to raffle off 90% of the membership monthly membership money. I want to pull a member's hat, a member out of a hat and
Right,
give the money back to the people. I want to have weekly trivia where there's money contests because I don't need this money. I got money from poker, plenty of money. This is just bonus money.
right.
All right, here's Big Nitty's channel. Let's see what he's doing. He's averaging 40,000 views a month, 10 to $161. Okay, let's look up Survivor Girl. Survivor Girl promoted my channel like recently without me even talking to her, so that was pretty cool of her. Did Debbie get her original channel back? I thought I seen her
Yeah, she
post.
did. Yep, she did.
Good
You
for
know,
her.
did you know I met her daughter, Kristen. I was in Flint on some business
Right?
and they left an envelope. Kristen left me a nice letter. Debbie left me a letter soaked it in
Good for her.
perfume. And Kristen put some gummy bears in it and one of those
Awesome.
pins, a pin and some little cutout things. I left her $10. But
That's
Kristen was in the background with Debbie's daughter Nadim, and she was waving at me. She's saying, "Hi, Terry," and I said, "Hey, Kristen," and uh, and I told her I was going to put something in the mailbox for her, and she went,
big
"Yay!" She's so
big time.
cute.
I bet. And all those fucking maniacs that talk bad about her online are sickening.
Yeah, I know.
I just looked up the Almighty King God of the world, Big Tom. He does decent numbers. He averages 344,000 views a month. I'm blowing him away, but that's not bad. He's averaging between 86 and 1.4 thousand a month.
Yeah,
That's way down from what he was doing when he was doing interviews. That's
yeah, he
really the
really.
only channels I know. I really don't know anyone else. Who in the community's got a decent channel? There's all those channels that all they did was screen record Maddie and then post it on theirs. Those channels are fraudulent because there's no original content.
Right,
Hey, happy Fourth to you too. I haven't seen you in a while, little brat. How you doing?
little brat, our brat. I suffered tonight. I had two hamburger patties, and I broiled them, and they just didn't turn out good. I'm spoiled, man. I like to eat. Do you have a grill?
Of course.
Can me and $10 Tommy come over?
Whenever you guys want. I don't work anymore. I just play poker and do nothing.
Oh, that's cool.
Well,
You
yeah,
get
I made you seen that post. That CEO gig I gave. I resigned and let his son take it over, which I thought was the right thing to do. Plus, I was starting to make such good money playing poker. I really felt I didn't need to be there anymore. So
You're a hell of a guy, man.
he gave it's my cousin's company, so he hooked me up with like a retirement plan and stuff. But
How
I
much
could
is he
have,
gonna pay? How much they gonna pay me if I go to work there 20 hours a week?
well, we pay all our workers. We start them at 20 an hour, just
Oh,
because
okay.
I know how it is to work a warehouse and be the low man, and I hate seeing people not get paid. So you
Yeah.
start at
That's
20 and you move up quick. A lot of the guys when I was there were making 25 to 30. just
I'm
because.
making 24 at my main job, but
But
I have
I
this
mean,
really cool media job where I can make $1,400 in 2 or 3 days, but it's not consistent.
I was
Not
there almost 4 years, and my cousin was paying me almost about 200 grand a year, which was for what I had to do way too much money. I literally just had to sit in the desk and make sure the trucks got off. I was the CEO. He literally moved to Florida, so I mean he still owned all the stock share of his company, but I was in charge. And then, like I said, I called him one night and told him I'm thinking about moving on, and I would love for your son to have the position, seeing it was your company to begin with, and his son just graduated college. So what better way to you graduate college and move right into a CEO position? So now his son he's running it. That's my second cousin. I look at him as a nephew, and everything transitioned smooth, and the company's still doing great.
right.
But yeah, I took a risk, man. I just like I said, I put 40K aside as my poker bankroll, and I got lucky and I ran that up into the mid 400K. I I'm humble. I don't like talking about it, but that's
Wow.
reality. So I got a poker bankroll now of over 500K, which I shouldn't even be talking about it because
Better quit.
I don't have a bank account. I haven't paid taxes. I paid taxes on all the money I made working as a CEO, but all this money I don't claim any of it. My gambling money, I keep it in a PO box, to be honest, just in case someone tries to break in my house or rob. I don't want to have any kind of money like that here. And if I
You're
put it
in,
in a bank, it's going to get taxed and all that. So I literally have like shoe boxes full of cash money in a PO box in someone else's name. I got the only thing I have, I keep about 30 grand on my Venmo card because I need to have that to play online poker. But other than that, I don't have no bank accounts or anything.
wow.
I'm using Venmo to get paid through YouTube. I got to do a 1099 for YouTube, but that's fine. I already did all that, signed up my taxes, my way of payment, all that. It's so easy. It's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be a big ordeal. They basically guide you step by step of everything you got to do.
I want to be able to get thank yous. I want people to send me thank you money.
You should be able to qualify when you're on there. You should you should be able to get you got to sign up for an AdSense account, and then you got to apply to be a partner, and then it takes like a week for them to go over your channel and see if everything's
Can you hear me?
uh, yeah, it takes like a week for them to observe
I
your
can't hear
channel
you.
and make sure. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hold on. Can you hear me now? What the hell is it doing? Hold on.
Hey brother, how you doing?
Can you
I
hear me
could
now?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you for a minute. Then I might have accidentally bumped myself off.
Yeah, but yeah, so what we talked about earlier, that's just monopoly shit. But no, yeah, I got lucky. I'm at MGM every night usually from like 10 p.m. till like 6 a.m. if you're ever out that way. Almost
No shit, brother.
every night I'm playing. There's like they run a $10, $20 no limit hold'em game that I'm in.
I used to go there with my ex-girlfriend,
And it's like
Carol. She
always it's a bunch of old wealthy Arabics and they're terrible. And I just fucking milk their money every night basically.
really.
Every now and then I have a bad night like where like shit not in my control. Like a guy will fucking chase a flush all the way to the river and hit it, shit like that you can't control. But in the long run, these guys are so bad that I've been winning so much money. The thing is, I gotta leave. I can't if I start playing blackjack or roulette, I'm gonna just I poker's it. If I can't, I'm done sports betting. I haven't sports bet in almost 2 years, and if I play anything other than poker, I'll be start losing my money.
Well, it's a game of chance. It's just
Right.
luck,
And plus
isn't it?
the house, you're not against the house in poker. The house makes money by they take money out of each pot. So say there's a 80, $90 pot, the house takes like 10% of the pot. That's how they get paid. So you're not playing against the house. So it's not like a rigged game like blackjack and roulette and baccarat.
Well, what if you sit down at a poker table and you hit right away and you get up and leave? Is that bad?
It's called a hit and run. You'll be frowned at, but you can if it's a cash game, you can leave at any time you want. You can sit down, buy in for the minimum. Different like $1, $2 cash game is minimum $50, maximum 200. You can buy in for $50, go all in the first hand, and have like 8 people go in and you win like have win $600, you can get up and leave after playing one hand. No one can they can't say anything.
Have you ever did that?
Uh, Back when I was poor and I needed money all the time, but I mean this is going back like 15 years ago. I would bring my only $50 to my name, sit down at a
Yeah.
poker table, and if I hit a big pot, I left immediately. But now, when you have a poker bankroll, which is money you put aside knowing you can lose it, then it's different. Like I don't have my poker money and my bills money is two different things, Like I have a specific amount of money that I can afford to lose on poker only. So once that money's gone, I'm done. Like, but I got
Yeah.
so much now that I'll be fine for a while. And then my living expenses are totally separate. So I
Now,
don't
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Are there any like working girls, like escorts, that hang out like in Las Vegas? I just play the slot
yeah,
machines
you can
occasionally.
on the weekends you kind of can tell, but I don't drink or anything, so they usually hang out around the bars and whatnot. And
Really?
yeah, you can tell this they're dressed kind of in nice but sleazy, and if they're over friendly and like playing like easy to get, you just know they basically wait to see someone hit big, then they'll walk up to them and be like, "Hey, how are you?" This, older men, they try to take advantage of older men.
Really?
But there ain't many, not like Vegas at all. Vegas high end escorts are everywhere. Like if you were to meet a girl in Vegas, there's probably an 80% chance she's a working girl. That's how many there are in Vegas.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, but like say you're like 22 and you're at a club thinking you're meeting a girl, odds are you're meeting a working girl, just a high end escort.
Right. Yeah.
What
There's a
else?
green door.
What
Huh?
else? What's $10 Tommy been up to?
Oh, he's just been chilling. He's got some health issues and
Oh, that ain't good.
chilling, working and just chilling at his. He stays with a relative out in a like over on the other part of the state. But we
Yeah.
talk every so often. We hung out at the bar a few times. He's a real nice guy. He's
What?
really super nice.
I'm sorry about Renee. I just seen that on your page recently. How'd she end
Yeah,
up passing?
her
That's
her mom had asked me to take everything down.
yeah.
Initially, her mom didn't want anybody to know, but I can talk about it now. April 27th, she a night or two prior to that, she had stayed the night with her at her son's apartment.
Uh
I
huh.
think it's in Wyandotte. That was good, and that she got to spend time with him. She
Right.
went in the hospital and I guess had a heart attack related to sepsis. But her mom and her doctor thought they didn't expect it, so um,
So
it,
basically, her insides were just all poisoned out, huh?
yeah, she, it hit me pretty hard. I really liked her.
I bet,
I,
man. You guys, I could tell you guys the relationship you had. It sucks that people on here try to spin it like you were like some creep taking advantage of her. I didn't see that at all. I could tell
well,
you
you know
generally
what?
no, but you generally you cared for her. I mean,
I
you
did.
it showed. But there's people who are just immature or can't see things like a normal human, and they immediately think you were just trying to get late, like creepy shit.
Well, the first year and a half, it was things got a little bit weird for a little while after I known her about a year and a half. Then luckily they went back to normal. We had some prop drama, some weird stuff, but it got back to normal. The last time I seen her in person, that Tracy, I was with that Tracy. She went in there and came out and said Renee was in there, and I went in there. We embraced. We gave each other a really big hug and a kiss and said some really nice things. And
Yeah,
I was
you
supposed to
were
bring back a walker and some her favorite
you
lemonade
weren't
and
in the
some.
trap.
No, she was in a warehouse, a really nice warehouse that's being rebuilt. The
Is
owner lets the hobos stay there. It's over by.
is is the place by that grocery store still running, or that one get raided? I won't specifically say the location. You should know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's still. I think it's still going. I mean, I made a foolish decision. I walked up to it one day and I shouldn't have did
I
it.
just
But
Sarah.
well, me and
That's
you
where
are going to
Sarah.
know where the spots are. Me and
Well,
you are
that's
going to
where.
know where all
Yeah,
this.
I know all the Southwest spots, but that Sarah told me that's where she was living. So I
Yeah,
got.
that's where she is a lot, I think. But anyways, my Renee, I gave her a nice hug and kiss. I was supposed to bring a walker from where Tracy was staying, but somebody else ended up bringing it to her. I had to go home, and now I wish I would have went back and spent more time with her.
Right.
But I luckily that was my last time seeing her was a really good experience, and
Those
yeah,
frat houses, man, the guys that run them, dude, they are fucking sleazeballs. The addicts that they let live there, the way they treat them, they fucking if like I heard they give you like a free pack of dope and a free rock in the morning to get you going, and then they let you go out to make money. If you come back later in the day and don't have the money from what they fronted you, they pistol whip you, they fucking beat your at all over $20, and
yeah. Well, you know what? I heard some things in the background once, a couple few times,
it
where they
almost makes
weren't
you
beating
want to
them, but they
fuck.
were threatening them and saying, "You need to get out," and
It almost makes me want to fucking walk in there one time and fucking start choking guys out, and I'll fucking beat up fucking four trap guys before they could do a thing. Plus, I'd have my fucking green beam Sig M17 on me. But I hate like that. Sarah would tell me stories of how they would treat the people in there, and it just made me sick. Like, who do these guys think they are? They're fucking. They're not
yeah, they're
fucking. They're not
they're
tough.
nick
They're not mafiosa.
yeah, they're nickel and dime, man. I can see it. I've seen some of them around. They're nickel and
Yeah,
dime. They
I
wannabes.
fucking walk in there and fucking beat the flock out of all of them for what they do to their fucking addict. They treat their addicts like they're fucking inhumane, like they're
Well,
not.
I've heard some the control in the background. I've heard them yelling like, you know.
Right. But I mean, they are providing these people a roof in the winter, but I mean, you have to, I guess the rule is you have to buy your, if they find out you bought drugs from another dealer while you live in their house, that could get you killed, I guess.
Yeah, and they don't really own them houses, I don't think.
No, they
Sometimes,
don't. They don't own them at all. But they freaking sometimes sometimes they'll rent out a house and like pay the rent so it's illegal and like there's electricity and shit. But usually
yeah,
no, they just find a bando that's actually in decent condition, and it's not like they're staying there. They're just there during the serving hours and they go to their homes at night. But their other spot before they moved to where they are now was more over by like
Lumley.
Livernois and
Yeah,
Warren. It was by
Warren.
it was off Serena. Remember?
Yeah, I know. I know
Yeah,
where it was.
you know the spots then. See, I know them too.
Yeah.
Just but yeah, that one got raided.
Yeah, there was a couple off of Otis. One was off of Livernois, just close to Otis, and one
Yeah,
was
I got
on
a
Otis.
friend that was living in the one on Otis. Ooh, she's clean now.
Was she out on the, if you don't mind me asking, what's her name?
Um, I'd rather not say. She
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
out working the streets or nothing. Her
Okay.
name starts with an N. She was actually close friends with that Sarah girl. Like she used to live next door to that Sarah girl. But
Yeah.
she was boyfriends with the guy running the house. So she had it made.
Oh,
But
I think I know. Was she with the guy named Eddie before?
I'm not sure. She's a shorter girl with she's got sleeve tattoos of like all the horror killers like Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy on both her arms.
Oh no, that's somebody else. Yeah, that's horrible down there, man. Some of them. But I feel the same way you do about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of people seeing the comments about why aren't you showing the good areas? I got videos of the good areas, but when 80% of Detroit looks bad, even I say like if I was to go to Palmer Woods, which is only like a 4 block little area, immediately when you leave within a half a block, you're in
South,
Chaldean Town, one of the worst neighborhoods in the city.
absolutely. You're right.
Same with Indian Village. You leave Indian Village, you're in the Jefferson Chalmers neighborhood. You leave
That's
Boston
right.
Edison, you're in the Dexter, no matter what. So
That's right.
these
You hit
people don't
spot on.
understand these beautiful areas. Yes, Detroit has them, but they're so small and surrounded all by rough areas that
Yeah, well, I remember when there was a thriving Chaldean community there. Up in the mid '90s there was.
that
Up
area is
until
pretty much all demolished now. They tore all the houses down, didn't they?
yeah, there's no people, no commerce or people out or anything anymore. They're up pretty much
Yeah,
gone.
I heard the land banks doing mad work on the east side with tearing houses
Yeah,
down. They were on the west side all last winter and last summer. They made a fucking big dent in houses, especially
yeah,
in
that's
the neighborhood between McGraw and Joy, off of Livernois, that area.
right.
They tore down a shit ton of houses. I know, did you ever used to drive down Central, like from McGraw to Joy?
Probably, yeah. Not a lot, but I have.
The right side of the street, there were I made a video of it because I got lucky. I had a video of me driving down it prior to them tearing houses down, and then a video after. There was like 15 houses
Yeah,
lined
I
up.
seen that. Yep.
Yeah, like they made a big dent, and then like all the side streets off Livernois between like we'll say McGraw and Tireman, like Clifton, just the side streets right off Livernois. They cleaned up those areas big time. They used to
Yeah.
be real bad. Now they're all either torn down or like fixed up with those plastic windows instead of the boarded up windows.
Well, you know what? You know as well as I do that, it's the Moulignon. They're not going to let that. It's never going to be viable. I
But
think Tom was,
here's my biggest argument. In 5 years, they turned Southwest around and made it beautiful in 5 years, only because of the bridge. If we weren't getting the bridge, they wouldn't have gave a care about Southwest. But seeing
well,
it's gonna be people's first impression of the city getting off the bridge. But look how quick they made Southwest into a beautiful area. If they can do
well,
that, if they can do it that quick there, they can do it in any neighborhood. But they
but
don't want to.
you're dealing with people from south of the border. You're dealing with Yemeni Arabs. You're dealing with community-minded, family-oriented people that aren't selfish and infantile. That has a big part of it, culturally and maybe a little bit
But I'm
biologically.
talking the city put the money into fixing up the area,
I
and
understand. You're right
and
about that.
but then go look at the Petoskey Asega area where a lot of my videos are, like or the Barton
There,
McFarland area, like Livernois and Joy, Livernois in '96. Like, why won't they put the same money in those neighborhoods? If
well, you know what? Kercheval and maybe it's West Village. I don't know, but Kercheval and Van Dyke is really nice now. Lots of fancy lofts and apartment buildings. A lot of gourmet type restaurants coming in. I went to Marrow restaurant and ended up. I just charged my phone and got a sandwich. And I got a new car. I got to get one of those chargers for it. I'm so
yeah,
behind on my
about
technology.
about a month ago, I hit the east side and got about 6 videos. I mainly was uh, on the East Warren area.
Right.
It wasn't as rough as I was expecting, but
We should start metal detecting, me and you.
right, it's best like where the vacant lots are, where it's just
Yeah.
all like Brightmoor would be a great spot to metal detect because it looks like you're in the country now. Almost every house is
Right.
torn down.
Yeah. Over by Finkel and Scotty Simpson's. And when you go to like Brightmoor, do you stop at any stores or restaurants? You ever been to Scotty Simpson's, the fish and chip place?
Absolutely. I always support Detroit businesses. I'm a big
Yeah.
advocate of that. Scotty Simpson's, I've had carry out from there many a times, but like if I'm driving in a new area and I see like a family owned Coney Island, I'll always stop in and have lunch. I love the like mom and pop areas in Detroit. I would rather spend my money than these trendy corporate places that you see downtown and in Corktown.
All right. I like the way you think. That's something we somewhat have in common.
Like
I,
Corktown, because it's right by downtown and it's thriving now. Like all those guys that own like fancy restaurants, they make sure they put one in that area. I won't put a dime in there, but if I'm on 7 Mile in Van Dyke and there's a little barbecue, I'll fucking spend $40 on a meal. There's a lot of gems throughout the city and like the neighborhoods, like
the Schwitz
little
Bathhouse, the
little
Schwitz
rest.
Bathhouse on Oakland Avenue. That's legit now. They got rid of the swinging I used to talk
Have you
about,
ever
but
been at have you ever been inside the Marble Bar by 14th?
I heard
I
about that.
I drove by it the last time I was out filming. It was in the Northwest Goldberg area. I only been in that area one time prior to when I videoed a few weeks ago. I fell in love with that area. It's like real old. It feels like you're like it just feels like you're in like going back in time. You know what area I'm talking about, right? The
Yeah, I think
Northwest
so.
Goldberg. It's kind of like once you pass. Henry Ford Hospital and hit Motown House and stuff, and you're going
Right.
west, southwest from that way, like on an angle, basically 14th Street, like 14th
Yes.
Street in
Yeah.
West Grand Boulevard, like in that area.
Right.
It's real old, but it's like cleaned up. It's not like ghetto, but like the houses, you can tell they're like 100 years old and 120. It's just, I like the area a lot. It's by LaSalle Gardens. You know that area, right?
Right.
It's that
Absolutely.
that's a nice area, and that's right by Northwest Goldberg. Pretty much just east of when you just get out of the Dexter Linwood area. That's when you're in now Northwest Goldberg. Linwood actually goes into the Northwest Goldberg neighborhood,
Right.
but
Yeah, I'm gonna
14th
drive.
14th Street was a street I rarely ever traveled on, and I liked that street a lot.
Oh yeah, I've been on that quite a bit. My favorite, and I got a lot of pictures with my film camera, and I wrote down a lot of addresses, and I went to the library in downtown Detroit, and I looked at old phone books to find out what the businesses were at one time, and there a lot of them were Jewish owned type businesses,
Oh,
like
I'm
a
sure.
kosher restaurants and barber shops and stuff.
Another building I love driving by is the Lee Plaza, that old hotel, that giant
Yep,
building in the middle of nowhere. I
it's
guess
on the
back in the
boulevard.
day, that's where all like the famous Motown people and like everyone would hang out back in the day. That was the spot, I guess.
Yeah, there's some Art Deco architecture in there.
They need to do. I heard they were going to restore it, but that was years ago. Yeah, I actually like the Wayne State area of Detroit for some reason. I don't know why.
You're a smart guy. You appreciate architecture.
Like
You like
I like the old cast corridor more than today's version, but it's never gonna come
me
back.
too. I like the
It
seedy stuff.
used to be way more like realistic art. See, now it's like fucking commercial art. Cast corridor, and especially like in the 70s, reading about it, like all the hotels, how they were like drug dens and stuff. There's a lot of history on that area.
Yeah, it was Skid Row.
Yeah, it they cleaned that area up a lot too, like the neighborhood behind Motor City Casino. It used to be real bad in the mid 2000s. Now it's actually like a nice area.
Yeah, you
What
know what? In the
neighborhood
early,
what neighborhood would you call that? Like,
the Briggs. That was the Briggs neighborhood. That neighborhood back in the early 2000s. I didn't drink at the time, but I stopped at a little bar there, and still had a lot of Southern whites there, or people that grew up in the neighborhood that were back visiting the old neighborhood. It was known for being a Southern white enclave. There's a really good book. I might have mentioned this to you before called, I shouldn't have sold it, but it's called Racial Situations. A French anthropologist back in like the mid 90s, early 90s, lived in neighborhoods in the city of Detroit that still had like white populations. He moved
right.
in Warrendale. He lived in Corktown as it was when it was just first starting to gentrify, and another part of the city I can't remember, but it's really good.
You remember on the corridor, kind of where Little Caesars Arena is now, those three giant buildings that were there. They had it had in spray paint. It had something like fuck. It was like a Armageddon Land or Zombie Land. There were remember that building that had the Zombie Land graffiti, but it was like 6 floors. That's how like big the letters were. They were like 6 floors, and it said
I
Zombie Land.
probably seen it. When was it
But
gone by?
shit. Once they started like redoing all the like, District Detroit and the fucking Little Caesars Arena and shit, You got to remember, it was like three giant buildings right on cast, and like they had a lot of words written, but they were like 3 or 4 stories words, and the one said Zombie Land at the very top.
I probably seen it.
A guy did a documentary. He was from like Germany, and he was talking about it, the buildings. It was from like
Yeah.
2004, and I mean it was a ghost town over there.
Yeah, it is. Detroit is kind of the Renaissance city now.
Shoot, I forgot I got 2 phones, bro. Hold on, I'm gonna look up the Zombieland building. It's
Yeah, look at it.
bothering me, but you'll know it if you see it because it said Zombieland in huge fucking letters. Like someone had a fucking, I don't know how they wrote that, but all right, here we go.
I'm not trying to revert back into character, but I remember on Woodward Avenue, up like in the early to mid '90s, even late '90s, a lot of old burlesque theaters were still up, and you had the peep shows and the live girl type shows, not the regular strip clubs.
Right. All right, I found it. It's Bye Bye Zombieland. So, it was the old Park Avenue Hotel. So
Right. Oh,
there were two buildings, and it said at the very top of the building, I'm looking at it right now, it said Zombieland. So it was 13 stories, 252 rooms. It was, let's see, recognizable features along a barren stretch of Woodward Avenue between downtown and midtown. So you know the building I'm talking about then?
yes.
Yeah, there were two of them, and it said Zombieland at the top.
Yeah, I remember before the Addison Motel before it was fixed up. The Addison Hotel.
Yeah, the park.
It's fixed up now. I'm taking a piss. I hope you don't mind.
Mayor Duggan hijacking historic buildings. That's the article for this Zombieland building. Park Avenue Hotel. I'm glad I looked that up. It was bothering me.
Yeah.
But when you get off here tonight, Google Zombieland and you'll see the building and you'll see the spray paint job I'm talking about. It's at the very top of the building.
Okay.
It's literally right where they built the new arena.
Right, right, right.
Right here.
Yeah, we lost a lot. We lost so much history. I wish it's nice to see the new stuff, but it's too bad they couldn't preserve.
Right here, Detroit's historic past butts heads with future arena. The Detroit City Council decision Monday again delayed a voted rezoning the new Red Wings arena, blah, blah, blah. But the proposal doesn't guarantee its run. The city voted 6-3 Monday to push the vote back. Olympia consult. The Illich family acquired the Hotel Park Avenue, a neighboring 13-story structure emblazoned with Zombieland graffiti as it amassed property rights in the Cass corridor for the arena to
Emblazoned.
develop.
I think the word's emblazoned.
Yeah, it's hard to see. It's like real small letters. Um, I'm trying to see the exact roads it was on. The the Eddystone and the Park Avenue opened in 1924. The area north of Grand Circus Park. You are familiar with Grand Circus
Yes.
Park?
Yeah, you know what? I remember now. You know what? There's one famous building over in old where Germantown was. I can't think. I remember that. That's when that before that was tore down. And also the Gem. I think it's called the Gem Theater. That used to be on Woodward Avenue, and that was moved.
Remember the Chin-Tiki building that was on
Yes.
Cal? It was in the
Yes.
movie 8 Mile. Shit, that building didn't get Zombieland didn't get tore down till 2017. That's wild. What is this site? This is the 7 stock photos of abandoned Detroit that aren't true anymore. Let's see. What number one? What is now the Z Garage in Bell Alley? Never heard of it. James Scott Mansion. Heard of that one. Soup Kitchen Saloon. Michigan Central Station. Packard Plant. Brush Park. The Zombieland building is gone. The word Zombieland is no longer hover over downtown Detroit. The one side by side because of the giant arena under construction. We're just going to show you. That's 25th. Oh, here's a video of them exploding the fucking hotel. That's sad.
I remember back in my day, ripping and running back in the mid '90s. I remember Cass Corridor being really seedy. A lot of prostitutes. I mean, they were worse than the Michigan
Yeah,
Avenue.
and there was a ton of hole in the wall bars and hotels.
Yeah. Well, there's still a few of them left.
Right.
Jumbo's was a hooker bar at one time. Now it's all like hipsters which is good. I mean,
Yeah, it was in the 80s it was like the punk area. You know, the punk scene.
yes,
That was fucking the Cass Corridor in the 80s. Not to be mistaken with today's hipsters, but the punk, like the real punk scene. Like
right.
those, but yeah, the Cass Corridor in like the 60s and 70s, those were run by like the black drug lords ran those hotels. They were drug
Yeah.
dens.
I think there was a couple of mafia run ones up until like the early '70s.
Yeah, the white mafia, like the Detroit Partnership, the Zarrilli Toko Mafia, in the
Yeah.
70s, they basically backed out of Detroit and let the black people take over the
Right,
drug trade in the city.
right.
You know
There
the
were
real
still a few.
Frank Nitti, he was Tony Jack's driver. You know who Tony Jack is, right?
Right.
Jackalone, the fucking menace of the mafia, the
Yes.
one that his his driver was Frank Nitti Usher, and that was how the Italians had ties to the
Right.
black gangsters.
Right. They
He
used
was
some of them,
smart by doing that.
but there's going to the gangster report and like looking up old going to the microfilm room. You can do it online now. You can just subscribe and look up old newspaper articles. There were like Jewish drug dealers that had ties to the Purple Gang in the 20s and Jewish gangsters of the 20s and 30s
Right.
selling drugs. There were
I
people
can
that would have
I can
known a
tell
lot of
you
them
the
that were active in the
it was
70s
right
and
it was right
80s too.
but right around the late 40s, early 50s is when the Italians from Terracini settled in Metro Detroit and ran off the Jewish gangsters. And it started with Joe Tocco. He settled in Wyandotte, and
Yes.
he was one of the original. He created one of the first mafias in Detroit. Not to be he's not related to the other Tocos, but he was in Wyandotte and he settled on the river because of sneaking booze in and whatnot. And eventually the Italians took over that from the Jewish gangsters. The prohibition, the tunnels where the
Yes.
booze were getting smuggled.
Yes.
The like
The-
the purple gang was they were like pretty much done with by the time the Italians were in power. But when the Italians first came here, they had a war with the Jewish gangsters that went on for a number of years before they
right.
finally took over. They outnumbered the Jewish gangsters basically.
Right. But there were still Jewish drug dealers like that lived in Oak Park
Oh,
and
for
Southfield
sure.
that up until like the '70s and even the
Yeah,
'80s, there were
a
still old
lot
time.
a
And
lot of
either
Jewish gangsters still they still ran Greek Town. They never the Italians never really could get control of Greek Town.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's one of the things. And then one you ever heard of a man named Alan Hilf?
Yes.
He was a Jewish like a gambler guy. He was he couldn't be made in the mafia, obviously, because he was Jewish, but they said his ranking was basically like third most powerful man in the Detroit mob, and he wasn't even made because he was Jewish. But yeah, Alan Hilf was like a huge bookie in sport. Like all bookies in Metro Detroit like had to kick up to him. He was the main dog, and he used
Right.
to host. He used to host casino night at his house, and like Isaiah Thomas would show up, and like
Yeah, yeah.
lying tight. But Isaiah Thomas ended up getting in debt with him for like $6 million, and the mafia was after Isaiah Thomas for a while in the early '90s. So you hear about that?
Yes, I remember that. I remember
Yeah,
that
yeah.
case.
He got himself in a deep hole from one of the illegal ran casino nights in Allen Hill's Grosse Point house. And then when Allen Hill passed away, they all ran to his house. There were supposed to be like $10 million hidden in the walls somewhere. I don't know if they ever found it.
I would have thought that the FBI would have had cameras on it or had it under surveillance.
That was still what that was the early '90s, so surveillance wasn't that well back then.
Right.
Then there was another. I have a friend who's actually not related to the guy by blood, but by marriage. He married my friend's great aunt. Have you ever heard of James Tamer? They
Yes, I
call
was
him
just thinking about him.
the
He
guy
was a
that got. He was a bank robber. Then he got busted rigging Boston Bruin NHL games. But he was the one that was running the casino in Vegas for the mafia.
yes, he was active in the 80s. He was selling moving cocaine up until like the late
My
80s.
Get this, my best friend, no lie, um, Tamer married his aunt Kitty. So my best friend's dad was basically raised by James Tamer. That's It's crazy that like I know someone that, but the movie Casino was basically made and based off Tamer, because you know how De Niro is a non-Italian frontman running the
Yes.
casino.
Right.
The the Detroit partnership used Tamer to run the Aladdin Casino in Vegas. He was the front man, but when they got caught skimming it, he got busted and ran. There's a video on YouTube that shows the feds walking Tamer out of the casino. But
Really?
yeah, Tamer was so liked and close to the mafia that the what was it called, Hillside or something, the country club that Jack Tocco bought. Him and James
Yes.
Tamer, they went 50-50 on that. Did you know that?
Yeah, I'd read that somewhere. I know there was a bust, a gambling bust back in the early 90s. Some
But but
Licavolis were busted.
James Tamer and Tocco, they went in together on that country club. But it's just crazy that my friend's he's my closest friend too. Like his dad, I don't know his dad really well, but his dad was like raised by James Tamer. Like in
What did he
on
say about him?
that he was like an everyday man. Like he kept business separate from life. He had a house on William Street in Dearborn, like literally, like Dearborn, a little bit south of Michigan Avenue. He had a house there that he lived in for a little bit. But
Really? Have you drove by it? Have you seen it?
it's still in the family's name. The Yeah, I don't want to say the other family that like he married into's name, but yeah, if you look up James Tamer like on Google, you'll see he has a property on William Street in Dearborn, Michigan.
Yeah, I've
But
looked at it.
the other thing, he was a he his early days he got busted robbing banks. Him and a guy by the name of George. His name was George. It was his best friend and partner. They robbed banks like in the '60s and did time together. And then when he got out, he was another big he was under Alan Hill probably as the biggest gambler bookmaker in Metro Detroit. But did you know about when he got busted with the Boston Bruins making them fix games? There's a big if you Google it, you'll see. Just put James Tamer Boston Bruins gambling conviction. He got caught. He was forcing these hockey players to throw games basically or threaten their lives if they didn't.
Really?
And then he would bet on what he would bet on what was going to happen because these players were throwing the game because they were being basically forced to do so. That was a big thing. But yeah, Detroit had two casinos in Vegas, the Aladdin and I forget the other one they had. But that's when Chicago had a casino, Kansas City Mafia had a casino. They all,
I
back
think
in the
Cleveland
Vegas.
did too.
Yeah, back in the 70s when the mob ran Vegas. But what happened was frickin' Zarilli, the Zarilli who was number two to Toko, he's the one that got caught on a wire talking about skimming money from the casino, which is what got the Detroit mob indicted.
What do you think happened to Hoffa? I think he was incinerated.
I Funny thing is I got another friend who's got actually a pretty big YouTube page. His name's his name's Gunnar Lindblom on YouTube.
I know who he is.
You know Gunnar? Gunner's a close friend of mine, but he's a Toko. His mom was a Toko. So he's a nephew of Jack Toko and he did some stuff for the mafia, but anyway, he told me that the one of the guys owned a slaughterhouse in the Eastern Market, and Hoffa was pretty much ran through the machine and chopped up into pig slop, like the food they feed pigs. So he was put through a machine at a slaughterhouse in the Eastern Market, and then he was fed to pigs on a farm. So he'll never be found.
I would think he was probably incinerated.
That they I don't know that Gunner knows this pretty well, and even Scott Bernstein, the expert, he's the one that said that he was put through a machine in the Eastern Market that basically chopped up like large pieces of meat into like slop for to feed like the hogs on farms. But then there's another rumor that he was buried underneath the Renaissance Center. Did you hear that one?
Yeah, I heard that one.
Because like Tony Jack and the guys when they would go to the Renaissance Center, they would always say, "Tell Jimmy I said hi," because he was under. It was like a running joke because he was supposed to be underneath it. But
Wow.
that movie that came out recently, what was it, The Irishman? That
Yeah.
movie, they got it all so wrong. They tried to make it that New York was the main call in Hoffa being. There's no way what Detroit had the call over Hoffa being taken out, and there's no way they put him in a trunk and drove him from Detroit all the way to New York. They would not
No.
risk that.
No, the
That
mob would. That's why it's organized crime. It's disorganized sometimes. So what's Gunnar
Detroit had.
Lind? You know Gunnar Lindblom personally? You've met him?
Yeah, he's my boy. I talk to him all the time. I'm supposed to go up north this summer and hang out with him. How do you know him?
I don't know him personally. I know who he is because I have an interest in organized crime, like the Detroit, like Italian and Jewish and
Yeah,
non-Italian and
he's
Jewish.
pretty. He's big time. He's probably done thousand. If you look him up, he's got a different interview and so many different places on the internet.
Well, how did you meet him? Have you met him in person or?
I met him through his page, but I started talking to him like personally about sports betting and stuff, and then he used to do a Wednesday night sports show with Larry Mazza. You know him, the mafia guy from New
Yeah.
York. Him and
Yes.
Larry Mazza did a gambling show, and he knew I was a good handicap gambler, and Larry couldn't make it one night, and he hit me up on Facebook Messenger if I wanted to fill in for Larry on his show one night. And I did the show. And ever since I did that show, we've been good friends. And that was like 2 years ago.
Oh, really? You went on panel with him?
Yeah, because he did a Wednesday night gambling advice show. And yeah,
Really?
I was filling, because Larry's a gambling expert. And
Was you?
like,
Is it still up?
probably, and I had a lot of success with it, and I showed him all my proof, so he had me on, and I did a good job, and then since then we've been cool. Like, haven't he comments all over my YouTube a lot, and I haven't hung out with him yet in person, but I talked to him on a Facebook Messenger a lot through text and on the phone. So like, I don't know. We're friends, I guess. It's just we haven't like hung out, but like he's so like I'm more than just some random guy that is a follower of him on YouTube. Like I
Oh, that's
personally
cool.
talk to the guy. Yeah, he's got a good channel. He tells a lot of stories from growing up in like the East Side, East St. Clair, Roseville, in the '90s. He's got a ton of stories about that.
Did
He
you ever meet Frank Bomarito, Frankie the Bomb?
See, that's where he he'll tell you like he looked at the mafia guys as just old men, like he was doing his own shit. He wasn't really fantasize, or like it didn't really interest him. He didn't really care, but his grandpa asked Tony Jack to get him some work. So he was just like a low level associate. Like he did like security on gambling nights. He did some bouncing, and then he'd do a lot of like gambling debt collections. Like they used him as muscle basically because he was like a maniac and he was all big and buff and
You know Tracy, the chosen one Tracy, she's from the east side and she's credible. She was looking at that book Scott Bernstein wrote, and she
uh-huh.
recognized that one Lebanese guy, I can't think of his name. Uh, he had a after out he had a club in Oak Park. She's was related by she had a kid with somebody that's she knew him. She had a kid with a guy that's related to him somehow. And she was also on 8 Mile Road in Detroit back in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, thereabout. Went into Frank Bomarito's After Hours Club. She said she's
Well,
seen him. She recognized him from the book. And she said that I asked what he was like. She said, well, he's just like an old gangster. He'd be in the back office. And they didn't let black people in. They didn't let black people into the after that club, that particular club.
yeah, the Bomarito was the connection between the biker world and the
Right.
mafia. Like he took like mafia business and biker business. He was the guy that they used for that. Then what was I thinking? He got shelved like a year or two before he died. I don't know what he did wrong, but they shelved him. Anyhow, Gunner tells a good story that Tony Jack, he had a mistress whose boyfriend was hitting her and whatnot. So he gave Gunner the address, and Gunner went over there and whooped the dude's ass. And after he did that, Tony Jack knew he was the real deal and started using them for small things. That's the only claim the fame he talks about. He don't say he was like close to any of them, this, that. He that's because like people get on him big time because like calling him a fraud and shit. But he don't never claim to be mafia. He just was in a family, like his grandpa wasn't actually in the mob, but he was close to him. His name was Peter Paul Toko, and he owned a produce shop in the Eastern Market in the 70s and 80s, and they all
Right.
went to the Holy Family Church in downtown. You know that the that church, the Holy Family Church. It's where all the Italians and mobsters went for years.
What street's it on?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna look it up, but it's called the Holy Family Church. But there's a book called 100 Years of something, the Holy Family Church, and there's pictures of his grandpa with guys like Jack Toko, that Deanna, the last name Deanna.
Right.
Watch, Holy Family Church, Mafia, Detroit. Right here, I'll
Did he
tell you.
say like where was that Tony
It's on
Jack's
it's on
mistress?
it's on Chrysler Drive, downtown Detroit.
Where was when he where was Tony Jack's mistress?
I I couldn't tell you. I don't know. He did a lot.
But I'm
He
just,
did
what city was it in? Where did he have to go to?
probably Southfield because Tony Jack had an office in Southfield.
Wow, he was still out there playing around.
But look, here's the book. There's a book called Detroit's Holy Family Church: 100 Years of Sicilian Tradition. Now, in this book, there's this is how there's proof that he was connected because his grandpa is in these like church club societies. Like one was the Knights of Columbus. He's in it with like some of the big name people. Let me bring up the Detroit Partnership mugshot list.
Peter Paul Toko, was he like an associate or he wasn't made or
He
what?
wasn't. He didn't want to. I can't speak for Gunner, but Gunner just thinks he didn't want to have to make his bones. He was a real church guy and stuff. So
Right.
he was just like real close to all the guys. Like he was the cousin of Jack Toko, like so he would come over the house and they'd all go to the same family functions and weddings and shit. But right here's a list of names. I can tell you some people he was sitting by. Right here. Right here. Okay. Michael I don't know how to pronounce Italian real good.
Polizzi?
Michael Polizzi, Anthony Corrado, Vincent Melli. You heard any of these names?
Yes, all of them.
Yeah, they all were with them in the church in the Knights of Columbus group, and then they formed like a VFW club almost called Post 590. Detroit Partnership Hierarchy Map. That's what I'm looking for. All
What's the
right.
name of the book about the church?
Um, Holy Family Church: 100 Years of Sicilian Tradition.
All right, I'm gonna check that out.
But all right, here's some of the. Let me read these names for you real quick.
Okay.
Now that I got a better one, it's hard. Those map, the FBI like hierarchy chart. It's hard to
Yes,
read them.
yeah.
This one, there it is. All right. Have you heard of Tony Palazzolo? How do you say that?
Palazzolo. Yeah, yes.
Palazzolo.
Yeah,
Gunner's
Scott Burns.
Gunner's grandma's maiden name is Palazzolo.
Yeah, Scott Bernstein thinks that Palazzolo was the guy that did the
Yeah,
hit.
right. Okay. And then there was the names Chicago Tony La Piano.
Yep.
This don't go down far back enough. Here we go. All right. Okay, Dominic Rubino. He was in the photo. He's just a soldier, but then Joseph Tringali. He was in the photo. His name's on here. Let's see. Anthony, these are all the Tocos. Brozino, Vincent Brozino. He was in there. They call him Enzo the Greaseball. Whatever that reason is, I have no idea. Deanna, you know the last name D I then ANNA.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a Deanna in the book he's next to. There Paul Lito was Gunner's great grandpa. Paul Lito built that church.
It's Detroit's one last time. Detroit's Family Community Church.
It should be 100 years. Detroit Holy Family Church, 100 years of Sicilian
Okay.
tradition.
I'm gonna go look that up, bro. I gotta go. Okay.
All right, man. Thanks for chatting, brother.
No problem. They're good to chat with you.
All right.
Congrats again.
Thank you. Anyone else in here? Let's talk.